it is a horror series, and how do you keep it from being repetitive or, oh, it's just another monster eating somebody?
You do it by introducing other kinds of horror, right? You have the creature horror, right? Obviously, the shadows in the dark and what's behind the door, etc. But, we also have moral horror. We have the things that human beings do to each other.
Okay, I'm going to start off with probably an oldie but a goodie. When it comes to aliens, what is your favorite alien movie of all the of all the movies that have been made? And the Predator versus Alien ones count.
Well, I would have to say, having now worked with Sir Ridley Scott, that original movie is everything to me personally, as much as I love James Cameron's film. So, I'm going to start with where it all started.
I have to concur. I watched that movie at too young of an age, and so it terrified me. And I just grew to love it so much. It's the original. It's where it all began.
Now, are you saying that because it's Ridley Scott's producing the show? Like, are you allowed to give any other answer other than the first one?
Yeah. What do people say if it was a James Cameron production? You see what I'm saying?
That's what I want to know.
So that's why I'm okay with Boris saying it was the seventh one that really knocked my socks off, and I don't remember the title.
When you started this journey, did you consult any other directors? I'm sure you talked to Ridley. Any other directors of other movies?
Of the Alien movies, I talked to David Fincher about his experience. I didn't talk to Fede until after we were done shooting, but I have spoken to him some. And then I spoke to Ridley about the origins and that journey, which has been well documented, but there's still some fun anecdotes that come out of his telling of the production, and including how he had PAs who would jump out of the shadows and yell to startle the actors at random times just to keep them on edge. But I haven't spoken to some of the others.
What was the advice that David Fincher gave you?
Mostly complaints, I think, is what. No. He was in an unenviable position of being a first-time director with some very strong producers. So, I don't think he necessarily made the movie that he set out to make, and so, I think what he tried to make sure is that I was in the position to have control over the property that I was doing.
How do you sustain a level of horror on a series that it isn't just like, the horror peaks too early or too late, or not enough horror? It's a balance, obviously, for characters, but it is a horror series, and how do you keep it from being repetitive or, oh, it's just another monster eating somebody?
You do it by introducing other kinds of horror, right? You have the creature horror, right? Obviously, the shadows in the dark and what's behind the door, etc. But, we also have moral horror. We have the things that human beings do to each other, which is such a staple. You think about Paul Reiser, his behavior in Aliens, and in some ways, as a Peter Pan story about growing up, it's about being exposed to the horrors of the adult worlds, and how this trillionaire who owns everything and everybody is exploiting them, is experimenting. As these children learn the truth about what it means to be an adult human, maybe they start to wonder if that's really what they should be.
Sydney, speaking of these Peter Pan lost children, how do you balance that sort of inner child that you are consciously, but you're obviously in an adult body, and how do you sort of keep track of that progression? Because you're growing through the episodes, right? So how do you make sure you don't jump too ahead to be an adult or not far enough? I'm sure you guys have to work a lot together.
Yeah, well, I mean, the majority of it is on the page, which is so helpful, because Noah's written a character that is so layered and so tactile. And within that, Noah really allowed us, like me and the Lost Boys, to play. There was so much room for freedom and to explore the inner child, which was scary and a challenge, and also so rewarding. And so it is a balance, but at the end of the day, it's the world's so massive that we're playing in, but it is just scene by scene. It's moment by moment. And hopefully it works out, You put the trust in Noah that he can put it together, and it's pretty cool.
So the Alien franchise has a tradition of, strong or just female leads, and you fall into that. So where do you see yourself in this line of female warriors, I guess?
Wendy taught me a lot, and Noah wrote a character who is able to learn how to hold her own, and going on her journey was just, she's unique in so many ways, but still, you had a way of honoring the essence of Alien and creating your own world. And so I can't compare. You can't compare yourself to the movies, I just revere them so much. So we'll have to see. It's in the audience's hands now.
You were in Andor, the first season of Andor.
Right.
You had such a memorable character. Have you been watching season 2?
For my sins, I haven't actually seen season 2.
Oh, wow.
But I've heard it's really excellent. And
Hold
I've
on,
heard
you're not in season 2?
Maybe it's you. I'm not in season 2, but apparently there's some really crafty use of some voiceover that landed really well. So I'm looking forward to digging in.
You were in Rogue One, I
I
believe,
was.
right?
I was going to mess with you, but yes, I was. in That's right.
So you guys worked with Tony Gilroy. Have you guys? Did you guys
Before,
connect
yeah.
on that on set at all?
No, we haven't, no.
This is great, TV.
Okay.
I know,
Some
seriously.
silver lining and all that, wasn't there?
Wow.
There is
This
something
is great.
funny about now being part of another sci-fi franchise. It is funny how, where you end up, the worlds you end up in as an actor. But they are very distinct, and I think Alien has, comes with its own sort of texture. And I think that was the appeal in both the texture that came with Alien, but also what Noah hit the universe that he brings with him. So, yes, there was something sort of like a combo.
Well, speaking of sort of the themes that the show does, one of the things that it does is that AI is a big factor. And in the last couple of years, as you guys I'm sure have been working on the show, AI has just risen everywhere. Has the sudden rise of AI, to the extent that it is right now, has that sort of impacted either the way the show is being written, or the way any possible directions?
Yeah, I mean, these scripts were written before there was a ChatGPT, and then as we went into production at first, we just had seen the first iteration of AI. So you think about the fact that mostly the stories were created before this moment that we're in now. So it does feel like we're hitting the zeitgeist in a way that was not intentional early on. I think we're all just trying to figure out what's next for us here on this planet. I'm rooting for us, humanity. Jury's out. I'm rooting for us, and I'm just trying to think ahead one or two steps of so that we can try to prepare. So much of the technologists and the billionaires these days grew up watching sci-fi, reading sci-fi. As a maker of sci-fi, I think it's our responsibility to try to provide a future that we can work toward.
Popcorn bucket time, because I know you guys have been eyeing this.
Yeah.
Read the question.
What's the best cosplay you've seen at Comic-Con this year?
There was that lady with a huge gun. Yesterday at
That
the
was
signings.
pretty cool.
The Vasquez, yeah.
Yeah.
She
You
was,
built it.
Yeah, she was great, and she walked around with. Do you think that was her husband in
Yeah, it
the
was her
Xenomorph
husband.
Yeah,
concert?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, she was like, "You
Yeah.
had the gun, I just..."
Yeah, they committed fully. There was a whole bunch of Waldos that I saw, and I was like, well, there you are.
Tim, for you, if you were to go on the floor, and maybe you already have, would you wear a mask? Would you wear a disguise?
Boris, come on. I'm a man of the people. You know that. Everybody knows that.
What's the best TV theme song ever? Bonus points if you sing it.
I'm going to go with Waylon Jennings, Just the Good Old Boys.
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
which I will also not sing.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Which version of Simpsons did you watch?
That was so disappointing.
The Simpsons.
Oh, yes,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's
Nice,
good.
that is it.
I missed it. Yeah.
Don't throw me under the bus. That's right? Yeah.
Futurama.
And it's the clouds and yeah.
Futurama's such a good one.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.